Coming up, the cost of the holidays hitting more than just your shopping list. Your Thanksgiving feast could cost you more this year. Plus, a major wedding website is under fire, accused of misleading small businesses. And a top senator is now demanding answers. And for millions of women dealing with menopause, a new non-hormonal drug may offer real relief from hot flashes and night sweats. We'll have details on this and so much more straight ahead. Hello everyone, I'm Cheryl Preheim, and here are your top consumer headlines. Several retailers and companies are ramping up seasonal hiring. Right now, it's hard to gauge how the labor market is doing because unemployment numbers are not being released during the government shutdown. But many companies have already announced they are adding thousands of temporary jobs, while others have said they're going to scale back. Jen Sullivan looks at who's hiring and how to land that perfect fit.
Hiring is ramping up. Many companies have added thousands of seasonal jobs, but it also comes at a time when many of the same companies are also announcing steep layoffs.
We've certainly seen organizations taking a little bit more of a measured approach as to hiring right now.
Dawn Fay with recruiting firm Robert Half says the good news is seasonal jobs can provide some benefits and may turn into full-time jobs after the holidays.
You're earning compensation, you're building your resume, you're learning skills, you're getting professional individuals, you're adding to your network and getting references as well, too.
Target says last year, more than half of their seasonal hires were offered the chance to stay on after the holidays. The retail giant recently announced they're adding seasonal jobs, but didn't specify how many. The news, though, comes as the company announced it's cutting 1,800 corporate jobs. Amazon also announced mass corporate layoffs this week, but the company says they're still hiring 250,000 people for the busy shopping season. The U.S. Postal Service is adding 14,000 seasonal jobs, which sounds like a lot, but it's far less than the 40,000 just a few years ago. Fay says these seasonal jobs aren't just in the retail space.
There's a lot of customer service opportunities. There's a lot of IT opportunities. We see across companies and industries a lot of opportunities in the accounting and finance space.
So how do you find these jobs?
When you're looking for these opportunities, to do job searches on words such as seasonality, temporary.
Fay also recommends job seekers consider contract work. Many companies hire temporary workers for projects this time of year. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Okay, let me open the calendar. People are finding places to pick up a paycheck. Hiring in the U.S.'s private sector is on the rise, according to payroll provider ADP. Officials there say roughly 57,000 jobs were added during the 4-week stretch that ended October 11th. That represents a bounce back from September's estimate that showed a drop of 32,000 positions in the private sector. Although some economic research is on hold, as we mentioned, because of the ongoing government shutdown, ADP says it will continue to release its monthly national employment report. The findings from ADP are not always in line with the official federal jobs report, but they are seen as a way to monitor overall hiring patterns. Paramount Skydance is slashing about 1,000 employees, mostly based in the United States. That's according to a memo CEO David Ellison sent to staff. In it, Ellison said the steps are necessary to position Paramount for long-term success. The cuts will affect jobs across Paramount's TV, film, streaming, and corporate departments. This is just round one, as more layoffs are expected in the near future. Target is preparing to cut more than 1,000 corporate jobs, about 8% of its corporate workforce. The Minneapolis-based retailer says it's an effort to streamline decision-making. Joe McCoy has more details.
Target's main headquarters in downtown Minneapolis will soon have more empty desks as the Minnesota-based retailer announced it's eliminating 1,800 corporate positions.
It's tough news for the city, and it's really tough news for the families and the people affected by the news.
Adam Dunick, CEO of the Minneapolis Downtown Council, says this is a gut punch to downtown.
This is a major Target town. I tell people that all the time. Target has a huge impact here, from the employees it employs to the other businesses that do business with Target around.
This summer, Target announced current COO Michael Fidelke will take over as CEO in February.
So it is a time of transition.
U of M Carlson School of Management professor Paul Valler feels this move was made now in part to show investors Target is serious about bringing expenses down. This comes as the company faces 11 consecutive quarters of flat or declining sales.
I expect, for example, that there'll be an increase, a bump in the price of Target stock tomorrow morning.
Target says 1,000 employees will be laid off and 800 open positions will be eliminated, about 8% of the global headquarter team. In an email to employees, Fidelke said, quote, "The truth is the complexity we've created over time has been holding us back. Too many layers and overlapping work have slowed decisions, making it harder to bring ideas to life." For the Minnesota-based employees who are losing their job, Valler says they should have an easier time finding a new job because the Twin Cities is a headquarters economy.
So the good news is that there's a really strong market for this kind of talent, administrative talent in the middle market areas for it within the Twin Cities.
UPS has handed out tens of thousands of pink slips this year. The company said it has reduced its workforce by 48,000 employees since last year. That includes 34,000 drivers and warehouse workers. The remaining 14,000 job cuts affected management roles. The Atlanta-based company said that it has benefited from implementing more automation, and it plans to hire fewer seasonal workers. These cuts come as company leaders have been pressured to deliver stronger profits. YouTube is restructuring and offering voluntary buyouts to U.S.-based employees who want to leave the company. According to a memo to staff last week, the move's part of the video sharing platform's broader shift toward a focus on artificial intelligence. It's not yet clear whether that means more AI-driven products on the platform or AI taking on some internal work. While the company's changes are not layoffs, the move comes amid growing concerns about AI replacing human jobs across many industries. Amazon may be laying off in the U.S., but it is investing heavily in South Korea. The house that Bezos built announced plans to invest more than $5 billion in the country. It's in addition to $4 billion it previously pledged. All of this money is going to AI data centers for AWS. That's Amazon Web Services, the retailer's cloud computing arm. The same AWS that suffered a massive outage last month and knocked much of the internet offline. More AI adoption is the reason Amazon gave for its plans to cut 14,000 staffers in the United States. As families across the country woke up in November 1st to find their SNAP benefits had not arrived, a local Seattle coffee shop decided to step in. Toasted Coffee and Bagels knows firsthand how much a little help can go a long way. And now they are paying it forward, making sure no one in their community goes hungry. Brady Wakayama has the story.
We want people to feel warm, welcoming, and also a very big pillar of Toasted is like social responsibility.
Staff at Toasted Coffee and Bagels in Seattle are taking it upon themselves to make sure families aren't going hungry.
Thinking about, people not being able to put food on their plates for their family, for their kids, grandma, grandpa, it's just very sad. And we want to make sure that we can lend a helping hand.
24-year-old Marat Accuse and his co-founder of this cafe have first-hand experience of what SNAP benefits can provide for a family.
My family, when we first immigrated to the U.S., we relied on the SNAP's benefits to just get us through a regular life. My dad worked 70-plus hours, we're a family of 5, and we still needed that $500, $700 extra to make groceries for the house.
More than 930,000 people in Washington rely on SNAP. The federal program provides up to $994 a month for a family of 4. Accuse created the Put It On My Neighbors tab initiative. No proof, no questions. Just say the line, and the baristas will hand over a free breakfast. Toasted is covering the first 100 meals, and every donation after that helps feed the next neighbor.
Donations are just coming in like every minute, from $1 to up to $500. It's just super cool to see.
In less than a day, Toasted has raised more than $24,000, enough to cover at least 4,000 breakfast meals. The idea came from a coffee shop in Portland, and Accuse hopes that that kindness keeps pouring over.
If someone is gonna not go hungry for one more day, that feels good.
Coming up, looking to save at the pump this holiday season, Amazon Prime members may have a new way to cut costs. We'll explain what you need to know about the pump perks. Plus, a top U.S. senator calling for a federal investigation into a major wedding planning website. He says small businesses were misled by the company, denies any wrongdoing. More on that when we come back. The government shutdown forces the Federal Reserve to make its latest interest rate decision without a key piece of data. Karen Kaifa is in Washington with a look at what the announcement means for your wallet.
Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell describing the Fed's move as risk management. The Federal Reserve cutting interest rates by 0.25 percentage point. And while they had government inflation data to inform that move, they were working without the latest government employment data.
The Federal Reserve making its latest decision on interest rates without the full picture of how the U.S. economy is faring.
There is no risk-free path for policy as we navigate this tension between our employment and inflation goals. Our framework calls for us to take a balanced approach in promoting both sides of our dual mandate.
The ongoing federal government shutdown has suspended most of the economic data the Fed relies on. That includes the Labor Department's jobs report for September, which should have released October 3rd.
It's not to say that we don't know what's happening with the U.S. economy right now, but we would have a much better idea and a higher degree of confidence if the federal government were operating and releasing the data that we're accustomed to getting.
The Fed can lean on employment data from the private sector as well as its regional banks. And while government inflation data for September did release last Friday, Bankrate's Mark Hamrick says the labor market is really in the Fed's focus.
Inflation is rising at an annual rate of 3%. That's still a long way away from the Fed's 2% target. But the Fed is primarily concerned now about a job market which has essentially frozen.
Justin Wolfers, professor of economics and public policy at the University of Michigan, says the central bank will likely take upcoming rate cuts with caution.
What it's doing right now is actually just taking its foot off that brake and moving us back to neutral. We'll coast for a little while until we can figure out what the next step needs to be.
Meaning, economists say, consumer relief on mortgages, auto loans, and credit card debt will come slowly, too.
Powell said that a December rate cut is far from a foregone conclusion, and the Fed will have a number of factors to consider in the coming weeks, including the potential impact of the extended government shutdown that could be a drag on the economy, especially consumer spending. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office said on Wednesday that they estimate the shutdown could cost the U.S. economy about $14 billion. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
Consumer sentiment took a dip in October, mostly over worries about inflation. That's according to the University of Michigan's latest survey, whose director says the government shutdown so far hasn't seemed to rattle shoppers much. Sentiment fell 1.5 points in October to 53.6. That is the 7th lowest reading on record since 1952. Open enrollment is back, a time when people can enroll, renew, or change healthcare plans for the upcoming year. No matter whether you choose a healthcare plan through your employer or the Affordable Care Act, most will suffer some sticker shock. Maribel Gonzalez reports on what's changing and how much more coverage could cost you in 2026.
If you obtain health insurance through work,
the total health cost of health benefits is going to rise by 6.5% next year, and that is the highest increase we've seen in 15 years.
Beth Umlin from the consulting firm Mercer says employees will feel it through paycheck deductions, as employers may shift more healthcare costs to staffers.
The same healthcare service and good that you bought last year is going to be higher.
A survey by KFF, a nonpartisan health policy research group, found weight loss drug use is driving up costs for some larger firms.
Many of those employers told us that their spending was higher than they expected, and that the GLP-1s was making up a big part of their prescription drug spending.
Separately, marketplace customers could see premiums more than double next year if Affordable Care Act enhanced tax credits expire.
We've been paying about $650 a month, and according to the new premiums, they would go up to about between $1,900 to $2,000 for the same plan.
Small business owner Michelle Mazer and her husband are facing tough choices.
It would either be me re-entering the workforce and shutting down my small business, or he needs to come out of retirement and go back to work.
So what can consumers do to navigate the costs?
It's kind of a joke that people typically spend less time picking out a health plan than picking out a television, but this would be a year to really focus in on all the options.
I'm Maribel Gonzalez reporting.
A major wedding planning platform is under fire. Iowa Senator Chuck Grassley is asking the Federal Trade Commission to investigate international wedding planning website The Knot. Grassley accuses the company of fraudulent and deceptive business practices, saying it misled small businesses that advertise on the site. He says his office has received nearly 200 complaints from wedding vendors claiming The Knot failed to honor advertising contracts, sent fake leads, and falsely promised discounts. The Knot denies the allegations, saying it is committed to transparency and helping wedding professionals grow their businesses. Neutrogena is recalling more than 15,000 makeup packages of its possible wipes because of bacterial contamination that could be there. Parent company Kenvue says the recall involved a 50-count, 25-pack makeup remover cleansing towelettes. The affected wipes were distributed to stores in 4 states, including Texas, South Carolina, Georgia, and Florida. Officials say there's no word yet on what caused the contamination. No reports of anyone becoming sick or hurt from this. Consumers can find more details and lot numbers on the FDA's website. More than 2 million pounds of pork jerky are being recalled after pieces of metal were found inside the product. The product is Golden Island Korean barbecue flavored pork jerky. It was sold in Costco and Sam's stores nationwide. No injuries have been reported, but the company recommends returning the items to the store to get your money back, or you can just throw them out. You may want to check your cabinets before you prepare your next meal. The Food and Drug Administration has identified more cookware that may be leaking lead into your food. The FDA originally issued the warning in August after it tested pots made by an Indian manufacturer. The updated warning includes brand names Tiger White, Silver Horse, Grain Market, Royal Kitchen, and Town Food Service equipment. But some of the products are not branded. The cookware was sold in stores in California, Chicago, Washington, D.C., and in New Jersey. There's more information for you on the FDA website. Nearly 5 million pounds of frozen chicken has been deemed unsafe to eat. The company announced a recall saying the products might be contaminated with small pieces of metal. The products recalled are Hormel boneless thigh meat and boneless chicken breast. So far, there's been no word of any related injuries. If you'd like more information, you can go to Hormel Foods website. Teasdale Foods Incorporated announces a recall of some of its taco dinner kits because of a labeling error. According to the FDA, cocoa mix packets were mistakenly placed in the boxes instead of taco seasoning. The cocoa mix contains milk, and that could pose a threat to people with related allergies. The FDA says that the affected products are Martin's and Giant Crunchy Taco Dinner Kit and Casa Mamita Soft Taco Dinner Kit. You can find more information on the FDA's website. Beef, it's what for dinner, and right now it's also at the center of a booming market. Demand is at a record high, but supply is the lowest it's been in decades. We take you to the Tennessee area where cattle producers are feeling both the benefits and the uncertainty of a changing beef industry. Olivia Deji has the story.
Farmers across Tennessee are raising cattle to bring to your dinner table, and recently the market is favoring beef.
Demand is all-time high for beef, and supply is at the lowest since 1951.
Charlie Martinez is a professor at UT. He says beef is the most complex protein supply chain in the world.
Throughout the supply chain, there's always going to be winners, there's always going to be losers, and that's just the way the markets work, and that's the way that they're designed.
Cow-calf producers raising cattle from birth are selling calves for good margins. For meat packers, it's somewhat of a loss in profit. Feeders in the middle are seeing steady margins. President Trump Trump announced he will quadruple beef imports from Argentina in an effort to make prices cheaper for consumers.
It really puts, our producers in kind of an alert mode.
Martinez says national and international changes that could impact those margins raise uncertainty. But Argentina isn't a main importer for beef. Brazil, New Zealand, and Australia rank higher.
I still don't think it really amounts to the amount that can really alter any of the markets that we see today.
Still, there's been backlash. Tennessee Cattlemen's Association released this statement saying it's caused chaos in the market. Martinez says farmers will still try to meet the demand.
When you're consuming beef, it's still helping somebody. It's still helping the industry. It's still helping producers. And at the end of the day, as long as you're eating beef, it's still a good thing.
Coming up, feeling the squeeze at the grocery store? You are not alone. A new report shows prices climbing faster than any other time this year. And it could hit your Thanksgiving table. We'll show you which staples are seeing the biggest jump. Plus, hot flashes and night sweats are making life miserable for millions of women. But relief may be on the way. The cost of living keeps climbing for Americans. A key inflation report out last week shows prices are rising faster than they have all year. Shoppers are especially feeling the pinch. The grocery store may be hitting the hardest. Jen Sullivan takes a closer look at how some key holiday staples and explains why your Thanksgiving meal could cost you more this year.
The cost of food continues to rise. A key inflation report shows September grocery prices are up 2.7% from a year ago.
Nobody wins. We don't win. The customer doesn't win. The supplier doesn't win.
Stu Leonard Jr. is the CEO of Stu Leonard's grocery chain. He says tariffs have caused the prices of some items like shrimp to go up, forcing them to buy elsewhere.
We've had to stop buying shrimp from Brazil. We went down to Ecuador, even Vietnam and Thailand.
And it's not just seafood prices going up. Taking a deeper look at this latest inflation report, food prices for many popular ingredients and holiday dishes are up, meaning your Thanksgiving meal will likely cost you more this year. Potatoes, meats, fresh vegetables, bakery products, and alcohol prices are all up from a year ago.
It certainly adds up.
Bankrate financial analyst Stephen Cates says there are a variety of factors impacting prices.
Tariffs can have an impact. The crops can have an impact. Quality, quantity, sourcing, all of that can impact what that is.
The biggest sticker shock this season is turkey. The annual wholesale price for frozen turkey is about $1.32 per pound. That's roughly 40% higher than last year, according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture. There is some good news. Eggs and butter have both dropped in price in the last year. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Amazon has announced Prime members will now be able to get 25 cents off every gallon of gas at participating BP, Amoco, and AM/PM stations. The offer runs through December 26th, but is only good on Fridays. Don't worry if you miss out. Prime members will still be able to get their normal 10 cents off a gallon once that promotional period ends. A new treatment option is coming for women dealing with hot flashes and night sweats related to menopause. The Food and Drug Administration has approved Linkwet, taken once a day. Unlike other therapies, the drug does not rely on hormones. Instead, it's designed to block brain chemicals that trigger symptoms. More than 80% of women experience hot flashes and night sweats during menopause. A clinical trial found women taking Linkwet saw a 73% reduction in symptom frequency after 12 weeks. You compare that to 47% for those on a placebo. The drug is available right now in the United States. The retailer best known for its high-end yoga pants, Lululemon, has partnered with the National Football League on an elevated apparel collection. That's what they're calling it. The line includes clothing and accessories made for fans of all 32 NFL teams. That'll do it for this week's Consumer Headlines. I'm Cheryl Preheim. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.